Good evening, campers. It is time for some Midnight's Edge After Dark. Elf has been a member for 8 months. Wow. Thank you so much. Welcome to the program. We have with us Mr. CC Karaoke. How you doing?
Glad to be here. Having an all right day. Just hanging out. Not a whole lot saying, actually.
Cool. Clobbering Times is here. How you doing?
Hey there, man. Thanks for having me here, buddy. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. And well, hello there, chat. Let's have some good fun geeking out tonight.
Good to have you here. And also we have 32 flavors of Nick Weiser. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Just got home. Happy to be here. Hail to our wonderful Midnight's Edge After Dark chat. Hail to our wrenches out there. Thank you for your services. And good to be with you, Tom, Clobby, and CC Karaoke, and whoever else may join us. Let's get the show rolling.
Yeah, we'll have to see who hops in here eventually, but welcome, kids. Hope everybody's doing fine out there tonight. We got D-Bud swinging around a wrench. We got SXHBK. We got Southern Viking, Patrick Lemire, Fletcher Williams, Mega Combat, Tiger Valley 62. Greetings. How's everybody doing? We got Headspace Astronaut, Doug 1985, VA Loves Horror. Queen Elizabeth's here. Eric Brake is here. Eric Brake. I read it right. Tekkaman Blade, Phoenix Knight 8 is here. Cool Gamers here with that damn Windows icon. We got Shotgun Fringe. We got This Old Goat. We got Griffin Turbo. We got Sadie sounding off in the background. Hamdinger's here. Shrap 3D and so many more. Hit that like button. Share out the link. Let everybody know that we're live. And it is time for Midnight's Edge After Dark. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about Mario. We're going to talk a little bit about Ike Perlmutter. Nick and I got to see the movie. What did you think of the Mario movie without any spoilers, Nick, real quick, your early thoughts?
Absolutely. I enjoyed it. I really brought my kids with me, my girlfriend, my kids. We all went as a family and we all enjoyed it. Let's just say there's a scene that happened, which I won't say what happens, but my 7-year-old, I thought her brain was going to explode from excitement. Like I said, she actually knows a lot of these games, and she lost her mind. I had to almost quiet her down in theater, but it was cool. It was very, very faithful adaptation of the games, and there's a lot of nods, homages, cameos, and respects paid in so many creative ways. And yeah, very simple, straightforward story, as people have been hearing. I can confirm that that's true. But I think meat and potatoes is good, especially if it's a damn good pair of meat and potatoes with gravy and butter. And that's basically what this movie is: meat and potatoes with gravy and butter.
Yeah, I didn't think it was as great as a lot of people are, praising the film. I thought it was good, serviceable overall as a kids movie. I thought it did fine. I gave it about 7 out of 10.
Okay.
But yeah, no, all the positive for the most part, I think it deserves. Yeah, I thought it was pretty much what you would expect out of a Mario movie. Your 7-year-olds will love it. It's not much more complicated than that, really. At the end of the day, it's a pretty decent film. My biggest complaints overall are just they need to get past this casting celebrities in as voice actors. It's kind of pulling me out of the movie. I get it. You want to try and get some butts in the seats, but Mario's already a draw. You don't need Chris Pratt.
Agreed.
Like Charlie Day was fine as Luigi, and of course Jack Black stole the show. But outside of Anya, whatever the hell her name is, Anya Taylor-Joy, however you say it, which she just kind of came off as generic voice actress in this sense anyway. So I don't know. The Chris Pratt voice kind of took me out.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. It just didn't seem normal or natural coming from Mario's mouth.
Overall, I enjoyed his voice more than I actually thought I would. I can't say he was still my ideal voice. I do agree in that regard, but I did enjoy it. I actually thought he was actually one of the stronger points of the film. I thought there was a few parts where it sounded like Chris Pratt, but I could definitely hear him trying to make an attempt to branch out the way he sounds to adapt to Mario-esque dialogue.
Yeah, just to me, I'm better off if I don't recognize it because then the voice can just be on its own.
That's true.
And,
Of course. It doesn't help that we know Chris
and
Pratt's voice.
DreamWorks started this shit, really. I mean, it's kind of started with Robin Williams and Aladdin, but they didn't really use him to sell the movie as much as like Shrek did with Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz, for instance. And they had started that shit prior to that with like The Prince of Egypt and some of their other movies that they had done where they were casting them with big name actors and stuff. And it's like,
and even on TV, TV, they started it with Batman the Animated Series, where they got all these, relatively not like superstars like you're talking about with the movies, but still there were voice actors and there were actors, and all of a sudden they started bringing in actual well-known actors on TV shows, which wasn't happening until like the 90s.
I mean, Scooby-Doo and The Simpsons always had their guest voice of the week, right?
Oh, yeah,
like that's
Scooby
one
did.
thing.
Scooby did it for a while, but for the most part, till The Simpsons came around. But a lot in the 90s is when it really started hot and heavy. I mean, almost every episode of Batman Animated Series, for example, would have almost all their villains were played by fairly well-known actors. That kind of thing.
Right.
And then
and that was just kind of the same thing as the Simpson effect, though. What they had there was they started getting bombarded by celebrities who wanted to do voices, primarily like fans of the show. So
out with the voice actors, unfortunately, didn't do them any good.
Yeah, but I've heard in like most places outside the U.S., like a lot of the dubs have the original voice actors from the video games. So go figure. Like, I enjoyed it. I'm not trying to like make it sound like I didn't like it, but that's like my biggest gripe is like just that. It's just, Chris Pratt kind of took me out of it. Couldn't stand Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong.
Oh, he's horrible. I didn't see it.
He was definitely the weakest link by far for me. He was definitely because of the laugh. And I'm going to go as far as to say that that's not a spoiler because anyone who knows the Seth Rogen laugh knows he is bound to do it at some point in that movie. Yeah, I thought that was the weakest link as far as the voice goes.
Yeah, as Elf says here with $2, Tom, your best friend Seth Rogen did the thing. Yeah.
He did the thing.
It's like Seth Rogen is the only person who's cast in more animated films than Chris Pratt at this point. Final Smash 1689 sends in 5 and says, saw Mario last night. Total blast. All the kids there loved it. This is exactly the kind of film we need right now. Yeah, as far as like a safe film for the family, you're definitely not going to find a better choice right now. And we also have Culture Casino joining us. How you doing?
Oh,
great.
There he is.
We got Alf here sends in 5 and says, I want to personally thank Bob Iger for being a fool and making Mario movie more enjoyable. I didn't know Bob Iger had anything to do with it. But there you go. Or if it's just the fact, the idea that you're giving somebody else other than Disney money, that I can understand.
There you go.
Yeah, and we got Doug 1985 VA loves horses. They've been stuck on celebrity casting since well, that's what I said.
In movies,
But even with Robin Williams, they didn't like they used him in the advertisements and stuff, but he was the only one of the cast that was like a celebrity voice. It wasn't until it was DreamWorks that started it. Fucking plain and simple. Between stuff like Road to El Dorado, The Prince of Egypt, also the last horse movie, Spirit or whatever, that also I think had a bunch of voice actors in it.
And Pixar started doing it.
And then Pixar, when they came back around, when they came in, they started doing it too, to compete with DreamWorks, which Shrek was kind of the end all be all of that. Once Shrek hit the way it did, and we really seen this come to a head. The one that really came to a head to me was, and it's probably worse voice casting than this situation. And again, this is my only gripe with the movie, so take that, as it is basically when they did the Chipmunks movie. Now, when they had that movie come out in the original trailers, that is not the voice actors who ended up doing the voices in the final product. The voices in the trailers are the original actors who did the voices for the animated show. But at the last minute, the studio wanted some names to slap on the poster. So they had what's his face, the Shia LaBeouf lookalike kid. The kid you get, God, what the hell's his name?
Shia LaBeouf.
No. The other guy. The guy was in Live Free or Die Hard. The other
Justin
kid.
Long. Yeah.
Justin Long, yeah. They had Justin Long come in and do the voice of Elvin. Not that you could fucking tell. Because, he sounds like a goddamn chipmunk. So, like, what the difference does it fucking make if Justin Long is doing the voice?
Wow.
Same thing with Theodore, and they had one of the kids from like One Direction do one of them and one of the other ones, and they didn't even do the singing part. When they're singing in the movie, that's the original cartoon voices singing. That's Ralph Bogdasarian's kid and his wife doing the voices. Yeah. Because she always did the voice of Theodore, and he always did the voice of Alvin and Simon and Dave, for that matter.
Sorry.
So, yeah, and she did the Chipette voices, of course. But
I agree. I don't think they needed names to sell this movie. Not when it's Mario.
No, Mario sells it all on its own, right?
And especially not when names haven't really been selling movies in a generation now.
Good point. Yeah, it'd be different if you had Tom Cruise playing Mario. I mean,
yeah, he's kind of the last star in Hollywood, or one of a handful of the final stars.
I think it's just celebrities cloud chasing, which is really ironic, considering that at one point in time, celebrities were considered like the mega all-star rock star type of gods. Now, because their names are just so smeared in the mud because of most of them having really bad TDS, they're saying all of a sudden they have these alternatives with like YouTube that they're competing against and TikTok and such. Now they're like, okay, what's going to help me get noticed? Oh, hey, look at these big IPs that already have a built-in fan base. I'll just go over to that and carry on my recognition there.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, if you're gonna get a celebrity to do a voice in this situation, I'm still standing by. They should have got like Danny DeVito to do Mario's voice. Who cares how old he is if you're doing a cartoon?
Oh yeah,
I don't know
absolutely.
that I don't know that it really mattered. I think Nick and I have talked about it, and you and I, Tom, have talked about it. Celebrity voices or no, this film was going to be incredibly popular. You know, and to me, it didn't take me out of it. You know, the only voice that did was Seth. And it was only that one part in the movie. That was it. I don't know about you, right?
They should have just had Jack Black play both him and Bowser.
That would have worked, right?
I would have been with that. I mean, it's not like they haven't had, 4 or 5 voice actors do 30 different Simpsons characters. Yeah. So it's not like it can't be done.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody's praising Jack Black as Bowser. I'd argue it's probably one of his best performances of all time, because you barely realize it's Jack Black until you kind of hear his voice come through and when he's singing and shit like that. Because otherwise,
yeah, they put his talents to the test. They really put his talents like up to the front. You really get to see what he's known for when he's outside of not just being an actor, but obviously Tenacious D. And he gets to put those skills in a way that people don't expect, and it's played off very brilliantly.
There is a difference between acting talent and voice acting talent. And getting somebody who can change their voice to create a character as opposed to just, also creating with their body, it's a little bit of a different skill set, or at least I was always taught and got the impression. So saying that, that's exactly what you would want with a voice cast in an animated movie, is somebody who, you don't, that was Chris Pratt, or that was Jack Black. If they become the character, you don't recognize them, and they're putting on a great performance. And
Charlie Day did a great job as Luigi.
Oh, he was excellent as Luigi.
And the other one that I didn't even know it was him doing the voice, I'll give him props for it. The Key from Key and Peele did the voice of the little mushroom dude, Toad.
Toad, yes.
I didn't even know it was him
in the movie. I didn't know either. Toad was excellent. Toad was probably one of my favorite characters in the movie.
But see, that's the difference, is like Charlie and that guy and Jack, they're all acting. Like, they're really acting, voice acting.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, I'm just going to say it. He did okay, but it just feels like it just didn't match the character. That's just my only gripe. The Anya Taylor-Joy, though, she did fine as Peaches. Peaches. Yep.
Yeah, she was fine.
But Seth Rogen was the standout that just really rubbed me the wrong way, because he didn't even try.
As the suck level, yeah, he was the one voice that I was just like, wow.
He just come out like, hey, really,
I really could do without him. To me, he must have really, really good connections, because he's always getting casted in all these things, whether it's in a writing.
You're right, Nick. His lips are constantly connected to somebody's cock.
Whether it's even like a writing credit, a voice acting, and acting, like he's involved in a lot of things. Like he's got to have connections up and down, because I don't get it. I really don't. Even if I took out his TDS stigma out of the picture, let's just take that out of the picture. He, at best, when I thought he was watchable, he was fine. When he was watchable, he was fine. He wasn't ever like amazing. Like, he never blew my mind.
Well, what bothers me is that we're likely to get a bunch of spin-off movies of these characters, and I don't want a Seth Rogen Donkey Kong movie. I love Donkey Kong.
That's true, and he's a larger character as well. And if they feel they've committed to the voice actor, then you're gonna get a whole lot more of it when that movie comes.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan. I have never been a fan of him. The only film I ever thought he was good in was Zack and Miri. That's about it.
That's where it starts and stops for me. Yeah.
Matt says here, we should do the good Mario Brothers movie on Toxic Tuesday, the one from the 90s, obviously. You know what's funny, Matt? I'm surprised no one other than me has pointed this out yet. There is a lot of similar beats in this movie that there is in the 93 movie. Like the intro is pretty similar, to the point where their truck stalls on the way to a job. Because that happens in the 93 movie too. You know, like it's very similar. You know, the ending is kind of similar, but everything in the middle is totally different. But yeah, and obviously they don't have the batshit craziness they had in the 93 film. Robert Kitchek has become a new member. Let's
Robert, welcome.
What level of member we got here? Member. We got a minimum effort puppy. That's Mikey's favorite video.
I member.
You member.
Member.
There you go. There's your minimum effort puppy, Robert. Thank you so much for becoming a member.
Member.
And then we got Waltman 4 in the house. It says, rumor via DC Drano. Bud Light execs are angry over Dylan Bud Light can with main theory. A manager did this in a secret push propaganda. New PAR comment soon. Possible lawsuit again. Rumor. Yeah, I don't know. From what I think this has to do is like the chick who's in charge now over at Bud Light, she like put in her headline of her social media like the first woman head of a major beer label, or the biggest beer label in the world or some shit like that. She basically was telegraphing what this is all about. She's a virtue signaler. So I'm sure this came from the very fucking top. But I heard that they are changing the name Bud Light on the can now. It's going to be called transmission fluid.
Oh.
Nice. That was good. That was really good.
My drum's not working today. There we go.
Oh, that was
Tom, your drum was late.
Yeah, it didn't want to work the first time. I hit the button and it gave me like the little
the middle finger
alert. Yeah, it's like fuck you. I give you that. It's like, nope, we're not doing it. But yeah, no, I don't know if I can believe this or not. I think this came from the top down because the bitch is on the cans.
Yep.
And those cans are horrid looking. Like, who would want to drink that? I wouldn't drink it anyway, but
yeah, I haven't drank it in a very, very long time. It's just not very good to begin with, in my humble opinion.
No, I'm waiting for Nick Weiser brand.
Right, guy. It's time we fight fire with fire, and we gotta start delivering the Nick Weiser. Maybe it'll be like a wheat. Maybe I'll do that, like a wheat ale type of thing, or traditional ale, and just say, you know what, we're gonna have something moderate, not overly hoppy.
But I want weed flavored beer.
It will fuck you up.
Can you give me pop flavored beer?
Oh,
well, wouldn't that not be as much of a beer then?
Well, it's got THC and beer in it.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said pop, like P-O-P.
No.
Yes,
weed, yeah.
Yes, let's do it. I'm down for that. All right, yes.
That shit will fuck you up.
Oh, man. Yeah. You're going to be high and drunk. This shit is good.
Throw in some Coke and everybody will get addicted. We're good to go. Tommy Reviews says Zelda Williams should voice Zelda. I don't know if she does acting, though. Also, I don't know if it's a rumor about John Cena Duke Nukem movie is coming. They've been talking about a Duke Nukem movie for how many years now? But you know what?
A long time.
I wouldn't doubt it with all the video game shit that's moving now. Like they have been in the background, like everybody's trying to get up on every IP again. This is like the 90s all over again.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised, because video games are going to be the hot commodity. But let's talk about hot commodities.
Ooh, hot.
Hot.
Right now, they updated Mario Brothers had a $31.7 million opening. Air landed 3.2 million, which is not bad for a movie like Air, actually.
No, it's actually not.
I don't know what the budget is for Air, but $31.7 fucking million in one day. Now that's not nearly like Avenger numbers, but that's pretty good. That's like roughly half of what Endgame did, right? Culture.
Yep.
I think we got to consider something else into this conversation. It's April. Well, school's still going on a Wednesday. Smack dab in the middle of the week.
I couldn't believe it. Of course, I was surprised at how full my theater was. I think Nick and I were both talking about that.
I got a private screening, but you know what? There was like 500 showings for the Mario movie, and I saw it just before school got out. Yeah. But when I come out in the lobby, that lobby was chock full of fucking kids.
Yeah.
Like from one end to the other.
Yeah. I can't see this, Tom, I can't see this film doing less than $1 billion. I mean, honestly, less than $1 billion. I can't see it doing less than $1 billion. That's a lot of money.
Dude, yesterday alone in Madison, I could have went and seen it like 40 times. Like it was showing every 15 minutes in the one place.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's where the only reason I got private screening of my own, but like it was also a 3D screening, so keep that in mind.
Oh, right.
But now every other screening I went past, they actually show up on the little screen how many seats are taken. Almost all of them were like red, like sold out of the 2D screenings and shit like that. So like people just weren't going because A, it was 3D, and B, it was the last screening just before school got out.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Someone else mentioned the cons, and that's a good point. In some areas, there's spring break. Out here by me, within, I guess we'll say, to be generous, probably 20, 30 miles, everyone's in school this week. But yeah, I'm sure some parts of the country are doing spring break. So you got a mixture of spring break. Thank you, culture. Easter's come in a factor. Yeah. And also, there's also some parents who I know who some of them got their kids out of school early because, well, the parents kind of want to take their kids to see this movie too. And that's going to be one of their, excuses to say, hey, we're going to go see this movie because, well, the kids love it and the parents grew up with it. Bonding moment.
It's also impressive for being an animated movie, which, animated movies won't necessarily have the same highest ceiling as live action.
No, but this is right in line with the last Minions movie, right, Culture?
Yeah,
the last two anyway.
It's actually performing better than the last Minions film so far. I mean, it's only one day. I mean, come on. Yeah, I can't wait to see what this really is.
Well, Grace Randolph says it's going to be dead by Friday.
God, she's an idiot. She's mistaken. There, I'm going to say it nicely.
I wish all y'all had seen the movie. We'd be breaking down her stupid video.
I'd be glad to help, but man, I haven't seen it.
Well, honestly, yeah, because her stupidity just comes out of stupidity. Well, maybe we'll do that if we get some more time. But yeah,
we don't mind spoilers. I mean, spoiler alert: she's an idiot.
There's not much to really spoil with this movie,
right? Exactly.
I mean, I'm not trying to say that it's not like there's no context to it, but it's like it's just not. It's basically what you would expect going into a Mario movie.
Sure.
Right. Like it's very much a straightforward ABC story, right? It's pretty simple.
That gives me good hope for Duke Nukem. Honestly, if we're getting into a time where we're just back to basics, movies are doing really well. You can get stuff like Duke Nukem again, where it's just like shirtless muscle guy is going around, destroying stuff, and that's all it has to be, and it'll sell really well.
Well, aside from go ahead.
No, I was just going to say because this is a good question. So Minions Rise of Gru, when it opened and it got a preview day plus its opening day. So let's just call Wednesday the preview day, and tomorrow I guess we'll call the opening day. But the Minions Rise of Gru from last year made $48 million on what is equivalent of First Friday. So we'll see where this ends up. But this thing is huge, man. Huge.
Well, besides Grace, which we may get back to here.
Oh boy.
But Johnny Legs Says he refuses to watch Super Mario Brothers movie
No.
because they did not cast any Latin actors.
What a narcissist.
I was groundbreaking, and then they stopped the groundbreaking.
Oh my god.
So
Yes,
by his logic, he's admitting that they were always diverse then. That this isn't some new cultural phenomenon that they were pretending just 5 minutes ago is a new thing in the last 3 years when they were doing this as far back as the early 90s and 80s. So which one is it? Is it that they're always doing this then, or is this now a thing? These people need to learn to pick what argument they have.
According to Christian, Tanya is technically Latina. But I was going to say, somebody please remind me who the Latin character in Mario Brothers is again. Oh wait, no, I won't because we don't have that long.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that the Latino guy who played the Italian in the first original movie, right?
Yeah.
But they ain't ready to
Yes,
have
sir.
that conversation.
I guess he forgot that. He just forgot. He's getting old.
I think he forgot they're Italian.
He did.
I think he actually does know that they're Italian. I think he just doesn't care because he just cares so much about this whole obsession with this inclusiveness stuff. I think he's all in on it. Especially he gets to clout chase off of it since it's the fad. And when that shit's no longer the fad, he, unlike a lot of others, are gonna pretend that they were never about it because that's how it always happens.
I guess he wanted Luigi swapped to be a Latina.
Okay, what he's doing here, aside from the virtue SJW bullshit, which we all agree, what he's doing here is bitching because normally when they do a remake or a sequel, they try to pay homage to the actors and shit before. But guess what, Johnny? Nobody from the 1993 movie is involved in this movie for good fucking reason. They don't want to remind anybody about that movie whatsoever. So that's why you're not in this fucking movie, John. Deal with it. Like, you just weren't going to be in it. End of discussion. Like, but yeah, it's just him saying, oh, they should have had a character in there, blah, 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 blah. There is no characters. None. Maybe Spike.
It's not a remake anyway.
No, it's not. I mean, even though it does have, and I bring this up, and I'm not saying that the movie is just copying the 93 movie. I can believe that because I know how many changes the 93 movie went through before it hit the screen. I can imagine the original script of the 93 film was very similar to this movie. That's why. Like, it's pretty basic idea. How do you get the Mario Brothers from one place to another? What's the conflict that's going on in the other place? Like, pretty straightforward storytelling here. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about Perlmutter. What do you guys say? Because do you know who he is?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ike Perlmutter has finally spoke out. The elusive Ike Perlmutter, we should say. Before we do that, actually, you know what? Let's get to some of these super chats because we got some super chats here. We'll get into Perlmutter in just a moment. Waltman says, did you see the Blue Beetle director protecting his tweets? Yeah, I think this is because he went and said some stupid shit about the president a few years back.
Yep.
It technically would be a felony last I checked.
Only if you have if it's a certain president. Any other president but that one.
Right. Yeah, you got a point. But yeah, I did not see that, but I'm not surprised considering. DCB Titans has saw Mario last night at 10:05 p.m. There was maybe 5 children there. Great movie. Looking forward to the sequel. They teased in the post credits. Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of people waiting to go in to see it. That's what I could see. Tim Hayes has been a member for 17 months at the minimum effort puppy level. Thank you so much. DCB Titan says, I was scraping the bottom of the barrel and then they stopped scraping the bottom of the barrel. Fixed it before your leg was.
Nice.
Jeez.
Well, yeah.
On Ike after your super?
Yeah, we got 2 more super chats here and we'll get into it. Elf sends in $5 and says, when I saw in the theater, they played the Blue Beetle trailer and the people were not impressed with the Batman's a fascist. Ooh, why'd you get some murmurs and mumbles? Yeah, I didn't get that trailer. Lord Trina says, did you get a reaction to it?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Really?
Yeah, there was like a kind of a really low rumble of unhappiness
A
there.
really dumb thing to put in the trailer.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. I know someone like to try to spin it
Right.
as that, but it's clearly not a joke.
But whether it is or not, you don't put it in a trailer. You don't put.
Yeah, that's what I
things
was
in a
saying.
trailer.
Yeah. First of all, you don't have the context for it. Second of all,
Context.
don't put that one.
No.
Lord Trinan sends in $2 and says, I do consider the 1993 movie a guilty pleasure, as do I and Andre.
I agree with
believe
this.
it or not.
You are guilty of being pleasured by that movie.
You know what? And I defended that movie for years because at that time, there wasn't really an established canon for Mario. Like we had 2 different cartoons, plus only 3 games, 3.5 or 4 games or whatever at that point.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a whole lot of like to draw from. In fact, I brought it up earlier on I think Mr. H's stream where I said Yoshi had just come into the fray when the movie was being made. Like they shoved him in the movie at the last minute because of how popular he got. Like he wasn't even initially part of the original story from what I remember. But
my kids were youngins, so I had to bring them to see this, but that's the only time I saw it at the theater in '93.
Oh yeah. It wasn't it was not great, but as a Mario movie per se, but at the time I was still defending it. Okay, so Ike Perlmutter, who is generally someone who likes to keep a low profile, has made a rare public show of dissatisfaction with Disney. The former chairman of Marvel Entertainment and largest individual shareholder in the Disney in Disney went. Let me make this bigger. Sorry, guys. That's what she said. But shareholder in Disney went public with his complaints about the company's direction, saying it should sadden investors in the company that he has gone since selling Marvel to Disney in 2009. Perlmutter had become an increasingly marginal figure in the day-to-day management of Marvel, most recently overseeing its consumer products operation as Kevin Feige continues to lead Marvel Studios. The investor released a statement in which he claims he was fired over his fixation of fiscal disciple. What is that?
Yeah, that's an awkward
Discipline.
That's a disciple.
Fiscal discipline. This is
means discipline.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, oh, and speaking of fiscal discipline.
Ah, Mikey. Hi, Mikey.
Hey.
Your timing is impeccable.
Hi, Mikey.
It is. Why?
It is.
We just started getting into the Ike Perlmutter deal.
We needed to be disciplined fiscally.
I thought we were talking about Mario.
We were. Did you watch Mario?
No, I haven't. I'm not watching any movies till April 18th. I'm on lockdown.
Oh, wow. You're on lockdown. What'd you do? Get COVID?
No, I'm so slammed.
Good job. You went and got the COVID. I saw the video.
No, I'm slammed.
That's what you get for running through the streets with no pants on, Mikey.
I have pants on. You know what?
There was no pants in that video.
I'm wearing shorts. I'm wearing shorts.
You were hanging free. I'm impressed.
I am impressed. I think I'm gonna go out in front of on the last short that I released. You think I walked out in front of my house in front of all my neighbors to do that video?
That's not the video I'm talking about.
Wait. Is there another video out there that I don't know about?
The one that you were jumping out of the window with only a t-shirt running across the street.
That was not me. You people.
That looked just like you. I don't know, sir. And I said I was impressed with your prowess.
Wow. And I love showing up for this show.
You might want to shave, though.
Hey, that's how you know it's not me. I don't. Okay, so I'm mostly Native. I don't really have any hair on my body.
Whoa. All
right,
that's the only part there was hair was in a veritable forest.
This is getting very toxic.
Did you guys see the video? I can't even show the video on screen.
Yeah, I wouldn't show that.
That was not.
No way.
No. People, you stop that right now. Okay, back to Ike Perlmutter. I have to admit, it was pretty fucking funny.
It was. It's the best one of the bunch. It's this is it. We found the best one now.
Yeah, I think that is the best. That
motherfucker just not stopping. He just keeps going. It's like
right.
Goes right through a fucking barbed wire fence over the fucking.
That looked really painful.
Yeah, that is the best one. Check Twitter feed if anybody wants to know what we're talking about.
I shared the link right there.
Oh, Jesus, you put the link up.
I cannot show it on screen because you see Mikey in all his full glory.
It's not me. First of all, that naked dude may look Mexican, but he's Indian, I think.
But you just said you're part Indian.
No, I mean not that. I mean Native American. No, wait, hold on.
Make up my mind.
What is naked? Ah! What is this video?
Yeah, I don't even know how that made it on Twitter.
That is not me. We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose live stream participants if you direct them away from the live stream.
Oh no, it's going up actually.
I think it went up.
Guys, that clip was wild. Wow.
All right. I love you, Mikey.
I know. I love you more. Did you eat healthy tonight?
I did eat some vegetables. The investor released a statement in which he claims he was fired over his fixation of fiscal discipline and support for activist shareholder Nelson Peltz. The Train CEO had waged a proxy fight in pursuit of a board seat and other considerations, but withdrew earlier this year after CEO Bob Iger unveiled his plans to cut $5.5 billion in costs. Perlmutter's statement followed an interview with the Wall Street Journal in which he claimed his exit was not a part of the previously announced company-wide redundancy plan.
Oh boy,
as Disney had claimed, but was fired for clashing with execs. Perlmutter has long been known to have frosty relations with Iger and Feige. He goes, I have long expected that my working relationship...
You're not reading it right. It's going to say, I have long expected that my
he is a Southern gentleman. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, really.
Frosty relationship.
I say, I have long expected. Is that better?
Yeah.
Like Foghorn Leghorn?
Yeah.
That my working relationship with Disney would end. I say that it should come as a result of my trying to help Disney improve its business should have saddened many shareholders, as it does me. I am just a lonely chicken. Company's largest and the company's largest individual shareholder. Despite my employment termination, I will continue to hold my shares of Disney and continue to seek the improvements at the company for the benefit of all stakeholders. I said, that boy ain't right. Perlmutter said his desire to see cost cut to improve efficiency was why he supported Peltz. It is that approach to Disney's operations that has formed my support for Train. In seeking to restore the dividend, fix the company's inflated cost structure, and ensure the successful CEO succession. Train CEO Nelson Peltz has a long history of improving shareholder return as many leading consumer businesses. I can't keep doing the voice. I believe he could have done the same for Disney as a member of the board. It's a disappointment for me, and I believe many fellow shareholders, that he wasn't welcomed to the board and that it took the threat of a proxy contest for the board and management to begin to act. Okay, so Mikey, what is he saying there? I mean, I kind of know, and I know most people do, but I mean...
Well, let's start with...
I mean, this is not necessarily in his best interest to speak out about the company like this, because he's still one of the biggest shareholders.
Well, I think what's interesting is the fact that while he is the largest shareholder, not one of he is the largest, well, he's one of the largest shareholders, but he is the largest individual shareholders. At last count, the value of his stock was worth $3 billion with a B dollars. He is the largest individual shareholder of Disney, and he's one of the largest shareholders in general. Now we gave a lot of attention to the proxy battle, and the stock value that they had was $950 million, which was Nelson Peltz, his firm. Perlmutter's got more than triple that in terms of the value of his stock, and he's an individual shareholder now. By him not being a company exec frees him up to say whatever the heck he wants now as a shareholder, individual shareholder, whereas before he may be pissed that he got fired, not laid off. He may be pissed that he got fired because it's the old adage, like, can you affect change from within, or do you affect change from without? From the outside or from the inside? How do you affect? How do you want to affect change? Now he wanted to affect change from the inside out. Obviously, that wasn't going because he got fired. They legally fired his ass. Now they tried to disguise it with they had all these layoffs, and he was just another layoff. But that's not why. I mean, come on, the guy's the largest shareholder. He's basically just not playing ball with the execs. Now, I was thinking earlier today, I went on a mountain bike ride for about 7 miles, and this whole thing's been eating at me since it broke yesterday afternoon. And if you want to know if a company like Disney cares about us individual shareholders or us fans, think about this. A guy with $3 billion worth of stock isn't even on the board. He's not on the board. And they don't want him on the board. And they don't want his buddy Nelson Peltz, who also holds $1 billion worth of stock, on the board. So I have a hard time, I have a hard time. There is a battle in this company for the soul of this company, because this company is the Americana company. It's one of the, it's like, Apple Pie, Chevrolet, Disney kind of thing. And he's going to hold on to his stock because he doesn't give an F. And the fact that he made this statement and he did it to the Wall Street Journal is an FU maneuver to all of the gobbledygook that our boy Bob Iger spilled out on Monday afternoon. I mean, think of everything that's happened, and think of everything that's happened in the last 5 business days. It's epic. I mean, it is just thermonuclear epic what's happened, and it's happened fast. I mean, today's Thursday. I mean, it is just absolutely epic what's happened. And we're talking about these movies not making money. Universal, I think, is coming for if you look at the Universal business plan, Universal's re-implementing the Disney plan. You guys were talking, I heard you talking as I was getting off my last Zoom call with my last client. I was listening to you guys talk about the box office, and Universal is likely the company with animation right now. They're about to open. I saw the trailer for tonight's Midnight Edge After Dark show, which talks about the theme park that's opening up. My own 10-year-old out of nowhere told me he wanted to go to Universal this summer instead of Disney World, which is an Orlando trip I've been promised him for 4 years ago when he was 6. I told him when he turns 10 that he could go to Disney World, which at the time he wanted to, before a lot of this, woke crap really hit. And on his own, he came and told me that he wanted to go to Universal, to Orlando instead. My kid has no idea all the stuff that I say and talk about on all these YouTube channels about Disney. That told me everything. I mean, that tells me a lot. Now, I hope that Ike is now, who, by the way, Ike Perlmutter and his buddy Nelson Peltz, they literally live like down the street from each other. They're like buddies. And with what we saw happen on that investor call, the stockholders, we definitely have things heating up inside the company. Things are hot outside the company. The financial results aren't great. The stock hasn't moved. The day that Chapek got removed in the middle of the night at a Sunday night Elton John concert, the stock price, I think the difference is about 13 cents difference from where it sits today than that night. So Iger is not impressing anybody. And I don't think they're going to have that good of a quarter. I think the financial results of the movies have demonstrated, if anything, that they continue to suck. I think what we've seen with The Mandalorian and the comments that I'm seeing from the comments that we're seeing, Disney Plus is a failure. I believe that I think the running count now is between 11 and 13 billion dollars that they've lost on that project.
And now, Mike, real quick. Now, that's just money that they've spent in the content field. That's not counting the money for the setup and establishment of everything else they had to do on the back end to build it.
Right. That because they acquired what I'm trying to have a talk about financials. I'm trying to teach people about financial stuff, Tom. Who did that? Was that you?
Who did what? What?
Culture?
No idea what you're talking about.
I don't have any control, Mike. Tom doesn't trust me.
Wait, am I dreaming or wait? I thought did the screen flick? Okay, you guys are freaking me out right now. Anyways, yeah. So I don't know, man. You know, the only people that have made money off this Disney Plus, and if you take a look at this Mandalorian, I don't know how much they're spending per episode, but you know, basically people are using like Disney as a big cash cow and as a political vehicle. That is what Disney has become. Disney has become a cash cow and a woke, you know, experimental petri dish. Marty McFly's right. The Reedy Creek situation, I mean, I don't even know how much that's going to cost them. Marty's 100% right. I mean, it's almost incalculable what the impact of what this is going to be, because when you look at that, it's like you got to analyze what have they saved by having that privilege and what are they going to lose by not having that privilege. Culture, you were going to say something?
No, I wanted to just say, no, you're 100%. It is incalculable. I've been saying that for a bit. I know you have too, but let me phrase it a different way. What if they identify that Disney and Reedy Creek were never individual and they've been running a fraud the entire time?
Well, that would open things up for a lawsuit.
Yeah, and tax fraud, all kinds of stuff.
Fraud. I mean, it is. It's pretty epic. When I saw this when I read, I was on a Doomcock show, and one of the live stream fans alerted me to this when it broke. It broke like an hour, right? But like it broke around 7:00 Eastern, and I read the entire statement, not just the selected quotes that some of these folks are pulling in Deadline and something. I read the entire statement, and it's powerful what this guy said, and he wanted to make it clear. He wasn't fired, and he thinks shareholders around the country, around the world, should be pissed off that he's not inside the company anymore, because essentially the voice of reason has been was fired. And that tells me more than, you know, that tells me a lot. You know, the board, when I look at the board that got confirmed at the board by the shareholders, this board is like is about as woke as it's ever been, if not more so, especially with the new chair, the guy from Nike. This is not a company that's going in the right direction. Now, I will say this: if you're, you know, these people are insidious, so I'm quite sure that they are not impressed with Bob's performance at this investor call and how he took these calls. I'm quite sure that legal's not happy with him. And I don't think he made anyone happy. I think the only people he made happy are the Disney shill, Disney adult morons that root for Disney at any cost and that are ultra woke. And so when it looked like Bob was trying to take a stab at Florida and the governor down there, I think, you know, you have those morons that are cheating, you know, that are sort of cheering Disney on no matter what. So these are interesting times. If we have any hope for this company getting saved, we need chaos. Chaos has descended. So who knows? Maybe there is hope. But all I know is this, is that I'm the father of a 10-year-old. I don't give a flying fuck if this company burns to the ground, because I don't have time for it to be fixed. What am I supposed to do? Say, oh, I don't want to be a black pilled. I want to hold on and hope for change. For what? For what? For what? What? They're going to get a new CEO? They're going to fix Star Wars? They're going to fix Marvel? How the fuck long is that going to take? 5 years? 8 years? 10 years? Jesus Christ. What am I supposed to do? Be like 100 years old and like be excited that maybe the company gets fixed so that I can take my grandson to fucking Disney World? Fuck this company. Fuck these wokes. I hope it burns to the ground, and I hope Universal kicks its ass. I've already decided that I don't give a flying fuck if I ever see another Marvel Avenger hero good film, and I don't give a shit. After what they just did with the last Mando episode, I don't give a flying fuck if I ever see any Star Wars produced ever again till the day I die. In fact, I hope they don't, because every time they put something out, it cheapens. It cheapens and it kills what little love that I have left for something that once was inspiring and great.
Well,
am I on the stream by myself? Anyone?
Well,
No, I was just soaking in that.
I was just letting you go.
Nice stuff, man. Nice job.
You could have gone over 20 minutes. I've been content.
Honestly, I'm starting to feel a lot like Charlie Brown lately. Like I'm prone to it. I feel like there's a little bit of a sliver of hope, and that good's gonna happen, and everything's gonna turn around, and then I go for the football, and it gets yanked from underfoot, and I'm slammed on my back again and again. So there's a part of me that's just feeling like, yeah.
I agree with Mike. Like for me, it's like I'm not sitting here, and I haven't been sitting here. Like for me, like I was as Star Wars has been done. I didn't watch Obi-Wan. I didn't finish Book of Boba. I felt violated just being suckered into watching the first few episodes. Luckily, I never finished it. Didn't watch Andor. Didn't watch Mando season 3. And after what happened with Gina, it's just like I just don't feel it. And the last Disney Marvel movie I saw was Doctor Strange too, and I've not watched any of the other ones since. I don't care to give these people this my not just my money but the time only to give us all this garbage product. Like it's like I could just be spending my time and my money elsewhere for better stuff. And obviously DreamWorks is trying to pick up the slack with like Minions and Puss in Boots, and obviously Universal with Super Mario. And there's voids to be filled, and I think right now this is the perfect opportunity to look for other ways to fill that void rather than wait for someone to change. It's just kind of like an abusive boyfriend or girlfriend. They abuse you, they're abusive. They keep saying that things are going to be better this time, it's going to be different, and all they do is just hurt you worse the next time. I have no need to stick around for that type of abuse. So I look to the past for things I may have missed. And of course, as far as new stuff goes, there's plenty of stuff to go around. Look at all the people who are raving about RRR, or look at even John Wick 2. And there's that Finnish John Wick movie that's coming out. Like there are other things out there. Obviously, our buddy, that 70s rock fan, he's been championing all these Korean movies. I know RMB has been doing the same thing as well. So there's tons of good stuff out there. I think people just need to not just go for what's put in front of them and start seeking it out. It's fun when you do it that way, because when you go out there and you find something and you like it and it may not be well known, you get to be that guy or that girl. You get to say, hey, I want to tell people about this. This is great. I want to share this with people so people know how great this is. I mean, we were all like that to a point. Like when I was the only kid in my age group, when I was like in, I don't know, 7th or 8th grade reading Daredevil comics, I would have killed to have had the opportunity to link up with kids who like Daredevil comics. Nowadays, I'm lucky being in my mid-30s. I have friends on the internet who I can talk about that stuff with. I would kill for that. Be that guy who could discover that thing so you can be the one that tells others. And believe me, that's how new friendships start. That's how all these fandoms started. They started when we were brought together by these things that we felt in love with. This is a new opportunity to do that. And if Disney so happens to turn it around, hey, awesome, great. But don't wait for them to change.
I'm getting a lot of entertainment out of just the story of what's happening at Disney. And I agree with you, Nick. I mean, there's a ton of awesome stuff out there besides Disney. And with 100, like I've said this before, but with 100 lifetimes worth of stuff that you can read or watch or consume.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to be stuck on Disney right now. You can go read the Berserk manga, for example.
There's great old Disney,
very
too.
high regard.
Yeah, and you're right with manga. There's all this manga that's obviously very popular. Obviously there's even the French comics bande dessinée that Razor Fist has been championing. Obviously you got the CG movement. You got guys like Chuck Dixon and the Critical Drinker putting out chapter book novels. And I've read Dark Harvest. I really, really enjoy it. I didn't just like it just because it has the drinker's name to it. I really enjoyed it as a story. It felt like a cool 2000 era-ish like action thriller movie. And I would love to have action thrillers. So right now I get that in a cool story that was told by the drinker. I right now we have a landmine of stuff to check out. And once again, there's old stuff we all were always intending to check out. Life got in the way. This is the opportunity to bring that stuff to the light. I brought a lot of people to was it a month ago? A lot of people who had not heard of Showdown in Little Tokyo, who now watched it recently. Like, dude, how did I miss this movie with Brandon Lee and Dolph Lundgren? And it's a great cheesy, action hero movie, and more people should know about it. This is the perfect time to dig that stuff from out of the vault.
And as a as a fan of video games myself, I mean, there's so many video games coming out this year, and they may not all hit, but some of them are going to hit.
And
Whether
that's
that's
fine.
Tears of the Kingdom or Starfield or Baldur's Gate 3. And this is hundreds of hours of time to sink into all of that.
That's what's good, CC Karaoke, is because not everything's going to hit. I mean, to be fair, even during the times where most things were going to come out, not everything hit that. Even stuff that was good didn't find an audience. And that's fine. Some of these things find audiences late in life. Some of them, they become underground hidden treasures. Like, that's fine. But either way, regardless, you have a good problem, whether it's in gaming or whether it's in reading or whether it's in movies or shows. There's plenty of stuff to go out there and find. And it's so much more rewarding when you go out there and find it and you're like, oh, I found a diamond here amidst all this rough. It feels worth the reward. And I've already been trained to do that as someone who's been a listener of underground music for, God, what is it? I'm 35 now. I've been doing it since I was 15. I went on my way to look for things like that. And I would not just go for the stuff that was put on the front cover of magazines, but hey, where else can I look for links? Oh, hey, look at the thanks list of the album credits. Ooh, I've never heard of that group. Who's this weird name group from Switzerland? I gotta check that out. So, and that's, and now we can do that with movies. We can do that with cartoons. I'm discovering, I want to get soon into Hanna-Barbera cartoons that I may have missed. It's just there's so much good out there. There's so much good out there. Don't let the bad destroy you. It's already bad enough how much we've let it hurt us, and we don't need to let it hurt us no more. And guess what? The original Star Wars movies are still fucking awesome. You can put them on right now, and you'll still enjoy them.
That's a great point, because I spent a summer living in the woods under a teepee, and I had a job. I got all the money I earned that summer, and I would take these trips on a boat out to a used CD store back in the days, when I had physical media as more of a thing, and you could run a used CD store. I went to this small town, and I spent all my money. I would spend hours in that store, and I would just look through everything and find just random CDs, not stuff off the radio, just anything I liked the look of, and I would pick up piles and piles of them and discover all kinds of music. You could do that. You can do that with books. You can do that with movies. You can do that with anything you want. Just go to a place that has a huge repository and look, see what you like, and discover stuff.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I look at the cover for an album or the cover for a movie. I won't forget the first time I saw the cover for the Cobra movie. It's Sylvester Stallone with him wearing the aviators, holding the guns in the hand, and the red-black background, thinking, how have I not heard of Cobra? Okay, I need to watch Cobra. So I immediately bought it, and I was like, and as soon as Stallone said, you are the disease, I am the cure, I knew all bets were off. I'm like, I just discovered a freaking hidden Stallone gem. It's amazing, the stuff that's out there. It's so awesome. And it's, once again, it's so cool to go for that blind purchase. And yes, you're not going to win with every blind purchase, and that's fine. But the ones you do, you're going to remember them that much more. And it's going to make for a better story to tell your friends, your kids, your grandkids down the line.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yes, let's see what the chat is saying.
Hi, chat. Robert
Kitchek says, Ike Perlmutter, LOL, Disney is better entertainment than they make. Yeah, no shit, right? Thornton Wagner says, why would the trades allow Pearl his side of the story? Well, as you heard, they're only giving certain parts of it, but
and it wasn't in the trades. That was a Wall Street Journal.
Yeah. So what happened is that he released it. His firm released it as a press release directly to the Wall Street Journal, which then meant it got picked up by Reuters and the Business Wire. So the trades had no choice but to cover it in some capacity because it came out. They couldn't ignore it.
Believe me, Disney wanted it ignored.
And then we got Scott Westbrook, who's a new member. Let's see what level.
That's my boy, Scott.
Thank you so much. Can I go far enough back to see? He upgraded to the Congo level. I got to get that other Congo video up. This one's a little too long.
I should get like a little Congo drum from Amazon so that every time someone goes Congo, I go boom, 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 boom.
Sure.
Amy wants green drop drink.
No.
Amy wants green drop drink.
All right, all right. She's a loud one. It'll calm her down.
Welcome to the Congo level. We got C-Man here who says Iger's new brand manager will fix it all. Yeah, I'm sure. Brandon, the anime guy's here. How you doing? Says check out Susan in cinemas April 14th. Japanese cinema at its peak, going to SMB now. Cheers, y'all. Manga anime for life. Well, thank you so much. Then we've got Tripping Orc who gifted 5 Midnight's Edge memberships. Thank you so much for that. And then here I could have just did this because D-Bud's doing that in the background for me. Thank you so much. And with that, I believe we are caught up. So yeah, we've got some time. Do you guys want to check out Grace Randolph's stupid video?
Yeah.
Sure.
Dude, her voice annoys me. I mean,
Yeah, just
And this
without
comes from a
bleeding
guy
my
who I-
ears out, that'd be a good start.
I think my voice is annoying online. God, she annoys me.
Take
I'm
from
waiting
the
for a
silence.
stupid trailer. Yeah, she's got like 100 fucking commercials on this thing. I should just download it. So let's hear her bad take on Mario Brothers. Why don't we make some fun of her? Because she is clueless. We got Nikki D who says, which film will gross more at the box office, Guardians 3 or Super Mario Brothers? Nikki D, I'm going to go with Mario Brothers now. What about you, Mike?
From what? Oof. I'm gonna go Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
CC?
Oh yeah, after everything I'm starting to read about Deadpool 3, I'm starting to wonder about Guardians of the Galaxy as well. And Super Mario Brothers is going to do so well, it's going to be hard to catch in the first place.
Yeah.
Culture?
I think he had to. He ran
Oh
off
yeah, yeah, he had to be.
I'll
right
pick
there.
Mario for him. I know he'll pick Mario.
He would pick
Nick?
that. So would I. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. I could easily say Mario is the easy answer just because it's new, it's fresh in my head, and I've already seen it, enjoy it. Honestly, I'm not all that crazily interested in Guardians, and I will have to slightly correct myself. Obviously, I watched the Guardians Holiday Special, which I did enjoy, admittedly.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come close. And the reason why I say it's going to come close, it's this, because I think Guardians is going to have a big opening weekend because there's a lot of people who will come back to the MCU for the Guardians of the Galaxy. And I think what's going to be the telltale is going to be how people are going to receive the movie. I think it's going to do just somewhere between 170 and 200 mil opening weekend. I know it's a very confident number. Like I said, my interest is waned from it. It really has. But I got to learn to take my feelings outside of it. I think it's going to have a good opening weekend. I think the question is, will it have legs? I think they're going to be kind of neck and neck. So that's where I'm at, neck and neck. Yeah.
Yeah. It is hard to say, but I'd probably lean towards Super Mario Brothers. But I wouldn't put a lot of money on it or anything. I mean, you never know.
It'll just be interesting to see whether Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is as good as we hope it might be.
Yeah. Very up in the air.
That'll, as you say, that'll have a lot to do with how it performs eventually. Maybe not like the first couple of days, but it with its legs after the second, third, fourth weekend.
Yep.
Something
Mick
tells
Jace.
me. Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
I think Mario is going to have legs. I truly believe Mario is going to have legs. Yeah, Guardians, it's hard to tell because, Marvel's movies have had big drops, all of them. And I don't know if it's going to have the repeat viewings. And I see a comment saying it was a disappointment. And maybe it was for him, but the facts are that movie still made money. Now, obviously, that was at a time where interest for the MCU is at an all-time high. It still made money. I still think Guardians is going to – I still think he has a shot at making $1 billion. But will that $1 billion be at the expense of opening so big and that everywhere and then all of a sudden it drops off? Or will it be because it opens big and maintains? I think that's the real question we got to ask ourselves. I do think though, if it hits $1 billion, I think it's going to be the very last movie for a long time that does.
Yeah, Mecha J says, imagine Iger's reaction to seeing the Mario Brothers big box office opening. Oh yeah, that's not going to make him happy. Especially considering the 93 film is a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Kitty Bear says, Tom, when are we getting a 4K of Mikey's Greatest Escapes? Working on that.
What? No, you
KTEL is on the phone right now.
No. You have
coming. Mikey's Famous Escapes from KTEL.
God, you have so many.
$29.99 on video.
No, you have better things to do.
Says you. All right, let's get into this. Thank you, Kitty Bear.
So wow.
So
I'm
wow.
kind of shocked at how bad this movie is. Universal knows,
Wilson.
though. Universal knows, which is why the embargo is lifting mere hours before the movie premieres. I don't think this is going to make $1 billion. I think it might still have a big opening weekend. I don't even know if it's going to make it to Friday. I think word of mouth on this is going to be toxic, or whatever toxic goo there is in Nintendo world that destroys stuff that it touches.
Yeah, she's right. Like everything online, everybody's just so upset about this film.
Yes, she is.
So much so that Yellow Flash says it's a perfect movie to take kids to. It's horrible.
Another, another probably big city metropolitan resident who lives in her own bubble and thinks that how she lives in that city must be how everyone around the country is, like, once again, just disregarding that there is a middle America that is mostly not like her.
She's not even consistent in her conversation or in anything that she says.
Right.
I mean, she didn't. I don't even think she saw the movie, and if she did, she didn't pay any attention. I think this,
as you'll see. Go ahead.
I just think these are talking points written by somebody else for her, and when she vamps in a way that makes it really sound like she didn't see the film, because I mean, she misses major plot points that happen throughout that pissed me off.
James is asking what she's smoking. Oh, just wait. It gets better. She's like, here, hold my Bud Light.
Oh, wow.
So let me walk you through this, right? Because I know a lot of you aren't going to believe me, but I think you're going to be seeing a lot of bad reviews drop right now. And yeah, it's unfortunately true. Now, as I've mentioned before when discussing this movie, I don't play Nintendo games, right? Like I
believe that.
I know who the characters are, like the big ones, but I'm certainly not a Nintendo fan. But just like I say, movies shouldn't require homework. This should be accessible to a non-Nintendo fan, especially if it wants to make $1 billion. But I do love Illumination.
I will say this: I have not played a Mario game since Mario World, which was the first game for the Super Nintendo. I understood this shit. It ain't fucking rocket science.
Well, she's disingenuous, and again, I mean, she's going to get caught in all of these mischaracterizations, lies, whatever you want to call them, and it's going to hurt her with her audience. I guess her audience is roasting her. So,
you could make a movie, and this is something she refuses to see. She refuses to see that this movie was made accessibly, and yes, obviously it was made for the fans first, but I truly do believe that a kid could walk into us not knowing the Mario world and be immersed in the visuals and the colors and the goofiness of it. Bullshit on that. Seriously, fuck her for that comment. Like, this movie is very accessible. She just doesn't want it to be something that, supports what the fans actually enjoy. That's the only reason. Maybe this thing like subverted expectations, she will probably been tuned the horn about how great this thing was, but she's only doing that because this is something that pays respects to the fans.
Well, and I know there's people on the panel that are bigger gamers than I am. Yellow Flash is one here. He says, I've played every Mario game. Woo! Even the new ones. I got every Easter egg. Dude, I have not played any of these games since way back then. I still got like the reference to Luigi's Haunted Castle. I still got the references to the Mario Kart and every other little reference. I mean, I'm sure I didn't catch every one of them. I even caught the Jumpman references.
Yes.
Like, I'm not even that big on Mario. I think Mario's okay. But when I was a kid, I was more into Sonic and the Sega. Right? Like, that was more my speed at that point. Like, I liked
No
the
pun
first Mario
intended.
game, but no,
Right.
yeah, seriously, though. Yeah, like, I conquered the first Mario game and Mario 3. I don't think I've ever made it through Mario 2 or any of the other games. And unless you count Mario Paint, like, so yeah, anyway, I still had no problem following this fucking movie. So,
movies. I watch The Grinch every year. I love
and then
Illumination
this bitch,
films.
that tells you everything you need to know. Of all the Illumination movies on here, The Grinch is the worst fucking one, and that's the one she likes.
I think they're fantastic. And the trailers for this have been.
Whoops, sorry,
what
wrong
happened?
thing. Oh, you probably are better off. Hang on, I hit
What
the wrong
happened?
button here. I hit the wrong button.
So we're saying maybe she just hates Chris Pratt or whatever.
We got lucky for a second there. Oh, she hates Chris Pratt.
Well, there you go.
Do love Illumination movies. I watch The Grinch every year. I love Illumination films. I think they're fantastic. And the trailers for this have been very bright and fun. Plus, I've been really getting into Universal Studios Super Nintendo World. Like, I haven't had a chance to go there, but I've watched all the videos. I've watched.
She's annoying.
It looks like a good time. So I'm like, this seems fun. Everybody's so excited for Super Nintendo World, for this movie, right? And who doesn't love a party? I'm like, I want to be in here too, everybody. Move over. So I was
Oh my God.
my press screening. I was like, oh boy. So there were about 40 of us in the basement of AMC Lincoln Square, and they gave us free snacks. Yummy. And it was very nice. I had a great seat, wasn't too crowded. I had like my space. I was set. I was like, oh boy. But then the movie started. And again, out of like 40 of us critics, it was a critics only screening. The all media is tonight. It was a critics only screening. And I would say out of 40, maybe 2 people were enjoying and laughing at the movie. They were having a good time. Maybe you're one of those 2. But the
Is
rest
her accent real?
sat there in stony
Yes.
silence. Just
Sounds a little put on.
I didn't hear the first thing
Sorry.
you said. What?
No, just saying, is her accent real? Because it sounds a little put on in places.
I don't
Maybe
think
that's just my
she knows how to
imagination.
people very well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, she's still trying to learn how to talk.
Mm.
You know. You ever seen Starman?
Yes.
Mhm.
You know how he talks like this through most of the movie?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, that's Grace.
just waiting for the movie to end. You're like, oh, whew. I mean, I also was not only not enjoying it, but I was shocked that I couldn't get into the movie. I was like, how is this bad? I haven't had this hard a time watching a movie since DC Super Pets. I would describe both of these movies as torture to sit through.
Wow. And I actually didn't mind Super Pets all that much.
Wasn't that
thought it
bad.
was
I
kinda
like
cute.
Super Pets. F this chick.
I
Do I have to?
I give her some room there because I wasn't a fan, but it's all right.
But you already had at least most of the panel say it wasn't that bad.
No.
So, like, yeah, I thought it was cute for the most part.
I watched some of it. I'm sorry.
You know, Klobby's actually saying it's not that bad. That says a lot, to be honest with you.
I will admit some of the geek stuff, some of the things they did to the superheroes kind of aggravated me, but that's me. I still thought it was all right, though.
It was, yeah, but you know, it's
What I
meant to be
watched.
more of like a satire thing than an actual to be
Sure,
taken
sure.
seriously.
There was some cool stuff in there.
Sure, there was a couple of woke moments, but outside of that, I was
Yeah.
fine.
Whew. And I like comic
She
books. I
farted,
like
that's all.
mythology. I get into
No,
this
you
stuff.
don't.
I'm
Shut
open
the
to
fuck up,
getting into
lady.
new
You
fandoms.
don't like comic books.
So the fact that I was
No, you
like,
don't.
make it stop.
Poser.
No,
very
you
bad.
don't.
Although I wanted to walk out of DC Super Pets, as I told you, and the only reason I stayed
Poor
was
thing.
because again, I'm reviewing it. I'd love to be able to say,
Yeah, but
hey, it
tough
gets
job.
really good.
She's
It's
a
not.
wiki fan of
And
comics.
also,
Or
the visuals here were pretty good. And I really like Anya Taylor-Joy's Princess Peach and Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong.
She
Of course.
probably has no idea.
Ugh.
I can name a few Spider-Man villains she has never heard of. Fancy Dan, Slide, Hydro Man. You're talking D to Z list villains. Boomerang. She has no idea who those characters are. No, she's not a fan. Maybe, and I have to say, maybe at best, she may have read something from Frank Miller or Alan
She
Moore.
actually
She's
worked
never
for
read-
Marvel She actually
never read a
worked for
comic.
Marvel for a hot second, but I wouldn't believe she actually picked up a comic book and read it.
No, she never read comics.
I think she worked in like the marketing department or something.
Oh, well, yeah.
So,
She
it
saw a
wasn't quite
comic
as
book,
bad
yeah.
as Super
Yeah.
Pets, but it was close. It was bad. But speaking of the amazing visuals, Super Mario Brothers is available in 3D. And if you like 3D and you're willing to pay a couple extra bucks for it, you might want to consider it. Also, maybe as a safety net, because the movie's so bad, at least you'll have peak visuals.
That bad.
Particularly the Mario Kart sequences. When I was watching those, I was like, wow, I bet these would look pretty good in 3D. I mean, I think the movie's actually been made to be seen in 3D. I think they should be advertising that more. Like the rainbow road gets all swirly, and then the camera starts swirling, and you're like, oh, this is cool. And I did feel, I was like, oh, why aren't I watching this in 3D? Now, as I said, I've been able to get into other mythologies, but I just couldn't get into this movie despite being a ready and willing participant. I was like, come on, Nintendo World, indoctrinate me.
There it is.
So I thought about it. I saw it last night, and I've been like, why couldn't I get into this movie? And this morning, eureka, it clicked, and I realized the problem.
You're not smart enough to know what's going on.
What if it's late at night?
Oh, it was this ad that put her off. I see.
Super Mario Brothers movie, this latest one, of course, they did the live action one many years ago. But while this is supposed to be an origin story where Mario and Luigi do discover the Mushroom Kingdom for the very first time, I didn't even know it was called the Mushroom Kingdom. I had to look it up. It's not even made clear in the movie. But the movie is written for fans and fans only. Nothing is explained to the audience. Not the world, not the characters, not the circumstances, and not even really the point. Now,
she's full of shit here because there is a couple scenes where the world is explained to Mario.
Yes.
It's pretty basic. You hit it's just like the game. You hit one of the blocks, you get a magic prize. That magic prize gives you some sort of power. Okay. The plot is pretty fucking simple, yes, but there is a fucking plot.
There is.
The Mushroom Kingdom is under attack. Luigi and Mario show up in the Mushroom Kingdom. They get separated. Mario has to save his brother. Peach is trying to save her kingdom. That's the plot.
Yeah, there is an actual story. Whether you want to argue about its simplicity is fine, because yes, it is a simple story, but that's fine. I feel like that's also kind of the point. As I said at the very beginning of the stream, it's supposed to be a straightforward meat and potato story, albeit with good gravy and butter to add to it.
Your kids will not have to ask you 20 questions during this movie. That is true.
Exactly.
It's Super Mario Brothers. This isn't like the Da Vinci Code or the 10 Commandments, for God's sake.
So it's going to indoctrinate me to love coin blocks and
I don't know.
mushrooms.
For fuck's sake.
I'm fine with that. My kids didn't ask me one question in the movie. Instead, they are immersed in all the cool characters and the colors and all the cool things.
I didn't even expand on it. That's just the basic plot, right?
Yeah.
There is more to it. But I'm trying to be spoiler free here, but she gets kind of probably more into spoilers than I ever.
No,
would,
she's just trying to minimize it because she
does here going forward
towards this movie. She's trying to minimize it because if that's the argument she wants to stand on, I'll bet you if you dig through all of her reviews, I'll bet you there's at least a handful of our movies that have very, very, very loose, thin stories that she enjoys. But she's only doing this because 1, respect of fandom. 2, probably does not like Chris Pratt either. 3, probably.
She gets into why she doesn't like it.
Oh, I'm sure. And then, of course, I'm sure she has issues with Peach. I'm sure she does. So,
you'll see. Read between the lines here, but some of it's pretty blatant.
Now, some of you might be like, good, I'm a fan, and I just want to get to it. I mean, there's nothing to get to, but, good screenwriter, screenwriting, it's always been disrespected in Hollywood, but this is it's at its lowest point right now. Like, a good screenwriter can make this fun for everyone, right? This is like Nintendo Easter egg the movie, the opposite of Andor. This is just all Easter eggs. You just choke on them. It's too much candy. After a brief opening, which is very illumination.
Fuck you, bitch.
More illumination.
I'll have as much Starburst as I
you could
want.
be watching a scene from Sing or Secret Life of Pets, quite frankly. But then after that, there's no story.
And that's where she tells me she's never seen the original movie because this opening scene is quite a bit like the original. And I'm been pointing that out. But yeah, anyway.
Well, and what little story they do have, I found a couple of things. One was confusing. Like, why don't any of the other humans look like Mario and his family? And why is the human world super realistic yet full of cartoon-looking
No, they're
characters?
not.
I was like,
She's
that's
full of
weird.
shit there too.
Yeah,
the animation
this is a
again
lie.
is stunning, and some of the backgrounds in the human world,
A lot of the
almost real.
characters
But
in the
again, that
human
was so
world
bizarre that there
did
were
look
cartoons
like
running
them.
around in there. Back to the
They're
story.
caricatures.
I would also say it's a little disturbing because apparently in the games, Bowser, I had to look it up. Bowser is obsessed with Princess Peach and has been for a very long time.
Oh,
But
she
in
had to
today's
look it up.
marketplace post Me Too,
Yeah.
to hear Bowser declare that he's going to ask
Okay, that
Princess
was
Peach to
one of the
marry him, which
lines,
apparently
yeah.
isn't a split up. Bowser is obsessed with Princess Peach and has been for a very long time. But in today's marketplace post Me Too, to hear Bowser
Post
declare
Me
that he's going to
Too.
ask Princess Peach to marry him, which apparently isn't a spoiler because I looked it up and it happens in the games all the time. But he's like, I'm going to ask Princess Peach to marry me. And like his little sycophant sorcerer is like, what if she doesn't want to? And he's like, then I'll destroy her kingdom and kill everyone she knows. And you're like, wow, that's stalker behavior. And I would
That's called a villain, you dumb bitch.
Oh, she didn't like that. She could have feelings for the villain because a villain's actually supposed to be a bad guy. Culture and I talked about this yesterday. You understand his point of view. It's not to the point where you like him. It's just you understand why he is the way he is. But you at least realize clear cut, he's the bad guy. And that's what Bowser's supposed to be.
Pretty fucking cut and dry. That's because he's a bad guy, you dumb.
say kind of makes it not appropriate for children, quite frankly.
No.
And I would, in fact,
That has
I would
nothing
argue
to do
that
with
most
it.
of the
She
movie
is
about
what
who's
she
going
is
to date-
doing there is she is trying to have a crack at people like us. Right? Let's go back. I bet you if we go back and see her Lightyear review, it wasn't so bad, was it? I bet she didn't say a fucking thing about the same sex kiss in there either.
No.
Probably called
Well,
Stunning and
sycophant-
Brave.
Yeah, if
Something
anything, she
along
praised
those
it.
lines.
Exactly.
Yeah, something along those
I love
lines. Paraphrasing.
sorcerer is like, what if she doesn't want to? And he's like, then I'll destroy her kingdom and kill everyone she knows. And you're like, wow, that's stalker behavior. And I would say kind of makes this not appropriate for children, quite frankly.
Oh my God.
And I would, in fact, I would argue that most of the movie is about who's going to date Princess
No,
Peach.
it isn't.
And that's it. My jaw was on the floor. I'm like, is that really what this movie is about? That is a really outdated story. I think fans and just moviegoers in general and everybody associated with this film deserve more. And it's a shame.
Fuck off,
because
bitch.
Jack
There's
Black
no
does a
shit
fantastic
is
job as Bowser. You
outdated.
can't even recognize it.
Outdated is not an argument.
Then
You're
Bowser
just saying
sings and
how
you're
much
like,
shit
oh,
is
yeah,
bad.
he's voiced by Jack Black. And you still can't tell that it's Jack Black. And I think that the
Hold
talent
on.
is definitely here.
Tom,
It's
can you
just-
pause
it's really
that?
just-
Excuse me? She said you can't tell he's Jack Black. That's the fucking point. That's what a voice actor does. He's supposed to make you believe he's not another character and not Jack Black. That's the
gets better.
fucking point.
Oh,
gets
no.
better.
I had to say that.
No,
I
you're
can't
fine. It
help
gets
it.
better,
So
though.
Jack Black was fantastic. Also, in an effort to move away from speaking of disturbing, I would also classify this movie as a little offensive because instead of doing the Italian accents, ironically, because they were worried about being offensive, instead they decided to give everyone a variation of a New York accent, which again, I found kind of offensive. It's like everyone's either in Goodfellas or a Woody Allen movie. Because and not just in the New York scenes, by the way. Mario and Luigi live in New York City, but you're like when you get to the Mushroom Kingdom, Donkey Kong Land is the same way, and so you're just kind of like,
No,
why would you
no,
make
it
that
isn't.
choice? Like, why do you think that's somehow not offensive and the Italian thing would be?
Okay,
It's
what
just-
she is confusing now is a Jewish accent for a Brooklyn accent. Because Cranky Kong, which would be Donkey Kong's dad, it's obvious that they're like a Jewish family. Like it's pretty.
I'm pretty sure the vast majority of people will not notice any of this or care.
No,
or
no,
want
you
to
wouldn't
care.
even.
care about this crap.
It's something I wouldn't have had to even bring up if it wasn't for her ass.
No. Nobody's going to give a crap about that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like the guy is not quite doing like a Jackie Mason impression as Cranky Kong, but it's in that vein, right? Like, it's,
Wow.
yeah, not quite there, but you know what I mean.
crazy. The movie also leans really heavily on classic hit songs, a little bit the way Guardians of the Galaxy.
What's up, guys?
You stupid
My name is
twat.
Mike, and here to
Hi.
get stoned.
Hi,
Today,
Mike.
Review.
Has done.
At least I can skip him
And
this time.
sometimes it gets your blood pumping. It's not a bad strategy, but here it's very poorly executed. Like everything, just when you're like, okay, now we're cooking, it peters out, and they're like, okay, we're done, and you're like, oh, you promised me a fun jam. Like when they start to make the Mario Karts and, and one of the Kongs is like, puts on his shades and he's like, what do you want me to do for you? But he just says it with a nod and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. And it seems like it's going to be awesome. The music starts, they turn up the volume and then they're done. And I was like, I guess if you've ever built your own Mario Kart, you'd be like, oh, cool. It's just
And then
like
they're
the game.
done.
But
No, you mean you actually built the card, you stupid.
I still have not had the pleasure of the experience. But I did really like Anya Taylor-Joy. She is always a delight as an actress on screen, but it turns out she has a great voice for animation as well. And she's a great sport. Look what she wore to the premiere for the movie, a variation on Princess Peach's Mario Kart outfit. I thought that was great. I am a little tired, though, of girl power for the sake of girl power characters. Like, if you're not going to fully develop them, I just get frustrated because I know certain groups are going to complain. And
Wait, what certain groups? Am I that
you
group?
should have justification for things. It's like if you're not going to do it right, don't do it. And again, she's all girl power, but yet the movie is just about who she's going to date. She's a princess in name only. I didn't see her make any rules or control the kingdom or anything. You know, she just kind of went on a date with Mario and
No, they did not go on a fucking date. You dumb bitch.
Wow.
They were walking to the fucking Kong Kingdom. Oh my God. And no, it doesn't even come up outside of in Koopa's own fucking mind, in Bowser's mind, about this whole thing with those two having a thing. It comes up near the end as kind of like they finally notice each other kind of thing. That's about it. Right? Like this whole blossoming relationship romance shit, none of that's in the movie. There's no kissing. The closest is Bowser thinks that he can marry her. That's it.
Yes.
Like, she is just making shit up.
Bowser was really jealous about it. And you're like,
yes, that is true.
This movie is about?
But that's the joke.
Keegan-Michael Key's voice
that's
is
the
also
fucking joke.
unrecognizable
Is there is no romance, Grace? You dumb bitch. That's the whole fucking joke. Oh my God. Is Bowser sitting there jealous of a fucking romance that doesn't exist?
Oh. I've never made through an entire
You have to explain the fucking joke to her.
I've never made through an entire review, and this is my first time, and I'm wondering how I'm still alive right now because this is nuts.
Man.
This is what she's like every video.
Me near
How's
this.
she been at it for this long?
I couldn't be in the same. She's turning me into John Travolta. Jesus Christ.
Are you gonna?
God, Grace, what the fuck
Let's have
is
a
wrong
face
with you?
off. Let's have a
I'm gonna
face
take your
off,
face
Tom.
off.
I want to take his face off.
Does she see herself in the voice actress for Peach? Because they look a little bit alike, you know?
No, Anya's like much better.
Oh, yeah, no, just,
Like, Grace is like every annoying thing about every fucking girlfriend you've ever had that you hated in your past. Put into one person. Like, seriously. And I gotta imagine for women, unless you're lesbian, she's like every one of your old friends that you hated, all wrapped into all the things you hated about old like people you've known in your life that wrapped. Like that's what she reminds. Just anyway,
which is a shame. I love Keegan-Michael Key, but Toad is adorable, and he serves as a good ad for his new restaurant at Universal Studios. In fact, I wish he'd done more cooking. I was like, oh, that's why he has a restaurant. That's great. That's awesome. What are you making? There was one quick moment where I can't do a spoiler review for this movie because I still can't really tell you what happened in it. But there was like one distraction, and I felt like they didn't even do that right. I was like, tell them that there's good food back there, Mario. Why do you be like, hey, he's cooking up something back there? I was like, that's clearly the move. All right, so speaking of Mario, how's Chris Pratt? Everybody wants to know, how's Chris Pratt? Well, he's doing a thick New York accent, so he doesn't sound too much like Chris Pratt. I mean, occasionally you're like, there he is. And Chris Pratt, by the way, outside of the controversy that surrounds him, he's a very good actor.
What
a very lovable
controversy?
actor, and he does a good job in that regard with, the
in your
emotion
own
and all
mind.
that stuff. He certainly is able to deliver in that capacity. But again, the script is so awful. Mario and Luigi's relationship just seems really forced. It's like screenwriter Matthew Fogel, who should never work again. He's done a couple of stuff for Illumination. That's about it. It's like he saw Frozen and decided to do the male version of Elsa and Anna, but none of the work to make it work. And since they insisted on putting Mario in the real world, so to speak, why do he and Luigi wear those funny outfits and gloves? I was like, you guys look ridiculous.
Okay,
none
there
of it
right
made
there
sense.
is one of the things where
Oh my
clearly
God.
she didn't watch the fucking movie. They're wearing overalls because they're fucking plumbers, you dumb bitch.
And that's their outfit and how they've been portrayed for what, 3 or 4 decades?
Almost 40
now?
fucking years now.
Well, I mean, she did say she can't do a spoiler review because she can't tell us what it's
No,
about.
but she says they don't explain. Oh shit, I did it again.
They don't.
She says they don't explain why they're wearing these outfits and gloves. They flat out say in the first like 5-10 minutes of the movie why they wear the gloves.
They actually do. That is true, Tom. But even if you took that out of the equation, they
Who
don't
gives a
need
shit?
to. They don't need to because that is how the characters have looked grown up for 3 to 4 decades. It's not my fucking problem that you want everything to be changed to suit your modern times and your bullshit inclusivity. That's really exclusivity. Go make your own movie, Grace.
Oh my god. Because they basically make the joke of like, because their dad goes, "Why are you wearing those stupid gloves or whatever?"
Yep.
And he's like, "Well, they're kind of like our trademark, so make us stand out against the other guys." Like it's a throwaway joke.
Yeah.
But it explains to you why they're wearing the white gloves. Well, they're giving you the white glove treatment.
Exactly.
And if you know what that is, Grace.
She doesn't.
Nothing in the movie made sense, so it was hard for me.
Nothing in the movie made sense.
Speaking of Mario and Luigi, though, Charles Martinet, he had a nice cameo. He is the OG and current voice of Mario and Luigi in the games, and a lot of fans were disappointed he's not voicing them here. But even I was like, "Oh, that's Charles Martinet. That's awesome," and I think it was a very nice.
How would you know?
Very, very briefly, but it was cute. Even the
So that
action
shows she's
sequences
full
aren't
of
that
shit.
exciting. There's like no suspense. It's just like, oh, hey, look, it's like the game. But you never really feel like you're running any of the gauntlets yourself. You still look like you're watching the game screen instead of being put into the action. That's the whole benefit of making it a movie.
Also a
And
lie.
then when could Mario turn into a cat? I guess like if you're into furries, that works. And maybe that'll play really well in Asian markets. I know they love cats over there, like love cats. But I just felt it robbed Mario of a lot of his personal dignity. Mario. Where's Mario's age?
This was in 3D.
That
Mario's
is
cool.
the moment right there, kids, where this shows you that she is the worst fucking. She shouldn't even be anywhere near this stuff.
This is the least qualified review I've ever seen.
How does she have
Roger
the
Ebert is
power?
flipping around in his grave, probably going, "What the fuck are you talking about, bitch?"
She has the fans that she does. I truly don't get it. I really don't get how she has the fans that she does.
I think most of them just watch to see if she'll say something stupid because that's the only time I hear about her.
Mario turn into a cat. I guess like if you're into furries, that
Pure
works.
furries? No,
Furries.
you dumb idiot. This has been a part of the game for 30 fucking years. 30 years has Mario been turning into other creatures in the game.
Yep.
She's not bright.
My God, I even know the name. It's what, Tanuki Mario or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this was
Tanuki's
all
the
about.
raccoon one.
Tanuki's
Yeah.
the best.
So you
Yeah.
say this wasn't done just because the director likes furries?
No.
Okay.
And of course, as a kid loving Tanuki Mario,
Jesus
of course, I
Christ.
turned into a furry when I grew up.
Right?
What?
I see you dressed like this on the daily.
Huh? What?
On the cover of Super Mario Brothers 3, the most iconic image of Mario, aside from the one that we're looking at here right now, probably like this standard pose.
Yeah.
Probably the most iconic image of Super Mario ever known is the cover of Super Mario Brothers 3. He
With a
has
tail.
fucking ears and a tail.
Yep. And I remember that cover. That stuck out to me as a kid. I was like, hey, Mario has a tail? This is new. I was really confused.
The world
but I remember
stopped
it.
when Super Mario Brothers 3 came out. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you had to be alive to understand it. And clearly Grace is not old enough to understand it.
She's
But like,
probably not old enough.
at that
Well, I don't
time,
know. I'm
Mario
about her age,
was-
and I understand it.
there was people buying bootlegs, selling the fucking game out of the back of their cars and shit for like twice the fucking price.
Yeah.
What is he, 25, 30? I don't know.
Oh
No,
God,
she's
no.
mid-
She's
late
37.
35 or
No,
36.
the-
I was going to say 35.
Okay.
How old is she, Tom?
36 or
35?
37 last I looked up.
Oh, these are my
Wow.
kids, sir. Yeah.
Yep. And see,
So we
Flash
got
knows
better.
what I'm talking about. Mario Day, the day it actually hit finally, because we were waiting forever for Mario 3 because they strung us along in the US because they gave
did.
us a different version of Mario 2 than what they got over there
Yeah.
in Japan. And that was selling so well that they held back Mario 3 for almost a year just to keep letting Mario 2 sell. And it's still, Mario 3 became the biggest selling game of all time when it dropped.
Funny
Like
how
they
that
could
shit
not
works.
keep it on the shelves, man.
Anyone remember the movie called The Wizard?
Yeah.
Because
Well, that was
I'm
part of the
38. I was
Ingenious
born.
campaign.
Yeah,
Right
I was
there.
born in '84, and I remember that movie as being huge.
It's Rain
at the
Man
time.
with Nintendo.
You're young, man.
Yeah, I know.
You're young.
And it was a big proponent of Mario Brothers 3. In fact, that movie, if it made any money at all, was because people knew footage of Mario Brothers 3 was in it. That's why all of us wanted to see that movie. We could give a shit about the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
It was just the fact that
was
we
everything.
knew,
It was like
we knew they were going to show footage of Super Mario Brothers 3 in that movie specifically, because in every single trailer, that was the tease at the end of the trailer was he's at the contest and they say, and you're going to play Super Mario Brothers 3. And then it would cut away to the Wizard coming December, whatever the hell it was. Because it wasn't
was a
until
worldwide
March, I think
event.
yes. It was huge.
almost unparalleled proportions.
You can find the commercials and everything still for Mario Day. Like, you thought Mortal Kombat was a big deal when that came out? Like, yeah, Mario, just everybody, the world stopped. People calling in for work and shit. OC Giggins says Universal treats and pays their CGI people very well. Super Mario Brothers looked incredible. My only gripe was Peach wants a feminine.
Wasn't as feminine
as she was in the games.
Yeah.
I could give or take her in this
By
one.
the way, I can forgive that. Just FYI, I really can. And that's me saying that's something you probably would never hear me say.
And honestly, from here on out, Grace just gets dumber and dumber. I mean,
and maybe that'll play really well in Asian markets. I know they love cats over there.
Like love cats in Asian markets.
But I just felt it robbed Mario of a lot of his personal dignity. I was like, don't do that to Mario. Where's Mario's Asian?
That's what people want to see.
There are also 2 end credit scenes, but
okay, now I'm not going to say anything more because then she's just going to get into shit. So, like, anyway, she gets spoilers from there on out. I'm not going to subject you. And that's the dumbest of her dumb. Yellow Flash 2 says, best thing about Mario is that you don't have to worry about Disney grooming. Yeah, no shit. Just a fun movie for family bonding. Yeah, I think we all can agree that this is something you can safely take your kids to. The only thing I would warn is if you're somebody who has kids that are probably, under 5, there's like one sequence with the haunted castle stuff might be a bit freaky for them, but it doesn't last long. Would you agree, Culture?
Yeah, it doesn't last long at all.
No, I mean, would you agree that that's the only thing I would really be concerned with?
Oh yeah, no, of course. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I did when I did my review on my channel, I did it with no spoilers and with the family in mind, because I wanted people to realize from the very beginning, this is a family fun film. That's all it is. It's not any deeper than that. It doesn't have to be. It was just there for you to go with your grandparents, your parents, or to take your kids or your grandkids to a film you could all enjoy together. That's all this is. It's all it is.
We need a Leisure Suit Larry.
Leisure Suit Larry would be awesome. Love that.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Culture is going to leave us now, so I'll let you get out of here before we get back into super chats.
Love you guys.
I love you. Take care.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you soon. Yeah.
See you in a bit.
All right, Culture.
Take care. And then we got Nikki D here who says, if you think this video from Grace is bad, you should watch her spoiler review of the Suicide Squad. I don't think she understood the concept of the villain. Oh, this is what I was getting at, though. See, Grace doesn't rate movies on what she actually probably thinks. I don't even know if she really watches them. She says she does, but she probably sends like 2 other people to just bring her notes. And the reason she went after the Suicide Squad so hardcore is because she hates James Gunn with a fucking passion. She hated him before he made her look like a fucking fool. He probably made her look like a fool because he hates her, because she hates him so bad for some reason.
Did he do that to her? I mean, she already makes herself look.
Oh yeah, he has made her look like a fool every chance he has gotten on Twitter.
Oh, cool.
Like he's always calling her out on her bullshit. Like somebody posted the other day, like, because she's like, "Oh, Superman's been cast already," or whatever, and shit like that, and he called her out on that. That was like the last one. It was just the other day they just hired a casting director for the movie. So no, they haven't fucking cast the movie yet. You
wow.
And then she tried claiming that Gunn was lying.
Wow.
Down in her fucking
claiming that the
she
director
did.
of the
She
movie
totally
was
fucking
lying.
did. Yes. And we're just like, Grace, come on now. Go home, you're drunk.
You can't make this shit up.
I'm not saying that Gunn has been 100% not lying through all of his shit. Sure, he's he's being a politician. He's playing a little sidestep here and there. And
I
he
don't
did
disagree
get caught.
on that.
He did kind of get caught in one lie, but we don't have the context. He said he talked to Ben Affleck and there was, excitement there for possibly working on a project. I can't remember the exact words that James used. And Ben was asked about it in the press and he said, no, fuck no. I will never work with them. So that doesn't mean they didn't have a meeting and it wasn't a cordial meeting at the end of the day, but Ben made up his mind that he's not going to do it. And for James to go out there and say he would be a totally different story, but I'd have to go back and see the actual quote again. But outside of that, nothing that he has said has not, like, who else are you going to fucking trust in this, whether he's telling us the truth or not? I mean, at the end of the day, Grace, if he says he hasn't cast Superman, he probably hasn't cast Superman yet.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, and this is the thing that was the kicker of it too, Nick, considering how you laughed when she tried to deny and say that he was probably lying. She claims that it was Logan Lerman who was the one who's cast. And he said, who?
I'm with you, Tom. I know Gunn does have his flaws, and I'm aware he can have things that he is absolutely, as you perfectly said, he's playing very politician about. But I do believe him when he's saying that she's lying against Grace Randolph. I truly believe he's telling the truth on some of that. Oh man, this lady is insufferable. I for the first time in my life saw almost the entire video, and I hope to. Man, I might
you didn't actually see the whole video, but
I know, like I said, almost. I might have to go get my Maker's Mark after that. I was gonna stay clean tonight, but Maker's Mark sounds really good right now.
Yeah, Nikki D says if you think Grace is bad, you should see it. Watch. Oh, we did see this one already. Thank you for that, Nikki. Yeah, she hates Gunn. Terrafim says, let's be honest, Grace just hates Chris Pratt. She hates Chris Pratt too.
And that shows you she can't separate her worldview, her ideology from look at the movie to at least somewhat an objective set of lenses. I like Chris Pratt. I can't say I'm like over the moon about him, but as I said, he was good. I don't think he was the definitive voice of Mario, but I still enjoyed him. And I do feel that he was good and that at times his actual voice kind of showed, but there are times where he made me feel like he was Mario. So, he did what I found was a solid job.
I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I love Chris Pratt, but I thought he was miscast as Mario. I don't think he fit the role real well. That's just my feelings on it.
That's
fair.
fair.
He would take me out. Not as bad as fucking Seth Rogen by far. But I'll be honest and flat out say, even though I'm a fan of Chris Pratt, he's being overexposed, and he was not a great pick for Mario. This is a situation where if you're going to do it animated, either get the original guy to do the voice, that was one thing she was right about, or this is the opportunity you finally do what they were supposed to do to begin with and have fucking Danny DeVito do the voice. Because he was originally going to play Mario back in '93, but he backed out.
I would have gone for that.
And here's the thing, Tom. Even though you and I are on different ends of how we feel about Mario, I think that's what makes this great. We were both able to still look at it for what it was, regardless of how we felt about Chris Pratt. We didn't look at it.
He's serviceable.
I don't like Chris Pratt, so I have to hate it. Or I love Chris Pratt, so I have to love it. We were seeing it for what it was. We didn't put on hate watch eyes. We didn't put on rose-colored glasses. We were trying to be as objective as we can be. And I think that's great, even if we are from opposite positions on Mario.
I ended up enjoying it a little bit because I'm not like a diehard Mario fan, but like I said on Mr. H's earlier, back in the day, I was more of a Sega Sonic dude, right? Mm-hmm. I liked Mario all right, but to me, he was kind of the kiddie thing, right? Like Nintendo was kind of more of the kid. It was the kids stuff to me. I was at that age where at that time, I bought in full bore into the Sega does what Nintendo don't. Right?
Yeah.
See, that's where I was. So I'll fully admit it. But me going into this, so I was like, all right, I'll probably like it. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I noticed some of the similarities of the 93 movie that some people didn't. But like you were pointing out behind the scenes here, I don't want to give away any spoilers. There is some laughs in this film that I did not expect. Some of them
Yes.
are in the Easter eggs. Some of them are in the background. Some of them are in specific characters or I'll just say this without giving anything away. The dog, the dog made me laugh the most in the movie. all the stuff with the dog. I won't say any more than that, especially the callback. So yeah, there's some great stuff. And Jack Black surprised the hell out of me. I love Jack Black as it is. His recent cameo in Mandalorian notwithstanding, but I thought he did probably one of his best performances of his life as a voice actor as Bowser. Like, I was impressed. And when he did that song, which you can tell he totally probably fucking wrote himself, it's just, it brought down me. I'm the only one in the house and I'm laughing my ass off. I about fell out of my seat when he started going, peaches, 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 you know. Anyway, Terrafim says, let's be honest, Grace just hates. Oh yeah, we got this one already. Thank you. I'm behind today. I don't have a 6 to help me out here. That's where I'm all off. Doug, 1985, VA Loves Horror says, if Sonic 3 is good script and a CGI world dollars, I think Sonic 3's got no worries unless it's a bad movie, right? Like you said, good script, it should be fine. They've knocked it out of the park so far with the last 2 from what I've seen, so I don't see. And Sonic falls right into the same category as this. You don't go in expecting Oscar caliber shit. You don't expect something that's written by, like, you know, John Milius or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's straightforward A, B, C. You get in, you get out. 90 minutes, good to go. I don't need a 2.5 hour fucking epic about Mario.
I like the first 2 Sonic movies. I really enjoyed them. I mean, I know some people are saying they wish they could have stuck to video game world, which I get. I think that's a fair argument to be made. But at least they're trying to make it Sonic, you know, add to an actual 3-dimensional character that is brought into a world. And he still looked like the character from the games, which I will definitely, whoever made that call to say, hey, we need to fix this, they'll always have goodwill in my eyes for doing that, because in a day and age where studios don't, for the most part, want to give fans what they want, I thought that was a good move on their part, because they could have easily brushed it off and said, oh, it's just a loud minority. Instead, they didn't do that. They went there, pushed it back for months, and gave us the Sonic that we recognize.
Yep. So yeah, I'm not too worried about Sonic 3. Nikki D says, in one of her box office breakdown vids, Grace found it problematic that Middle America supported TGM. What's TGM?
Top Gun Maverick.
Oh yeah. But won't support films with progressive messaging. I'm not surprised she's one of the people that tried to go after that movie, because I know a lot of the media did, but they learned real quick that it wasn't gonna fly.
Yeah, that didn't last long at all.
They need to understand that just because they live in like a city, whether it's in LA or New York City, and even I saw who lived in Chicago's got them too. A lot of people who live in these big cities, they think how their city functions is how the whole world is. A lot of them just assume that. They don't think about. They just think everything is just how it is there. They don't think about above, north, south, the middle. They just think everything is how it is a city is. Like it really is a bubble. I know that statement.
It's actually worse than that, Nick. You're not wrong.
But it is even worse. No, that's the thing. I'm just
it's
being
worse
nice
because
about
it's not
it.
so much that
it is worse.
They don't. It's not so much that they don't think the rest of the world's like that. They think less of us.
Oh, they
That's
do.
what it
Oh,
is.
they do. Oh,
they look down on us. So it's like they're doing us a favor. Is what they look at it.
I've talked to them, and like I said, I've lived enough of both. I've spent almost a decade in the city. I've spent over a decade in the burbs. I've gotten a good feel for each. And yes, both of them have their extremes. I'm not going to deny that either. But if I had to say who's the greater two evils, I'm just going to say the city is. Because the city functions much like the industries. These major institutions that would be like, are you good enough to be a fan of our property? That's how a lot of city people are.
Yep. No, and I get that a lot in Wisconsin. I was gonna say I'd imagine Canada's the same way, because Wisconsin's a lot like that too. It's you got the people in Madison and Milwaukee pretty much dictating how the entire state runs when it's like you're not the majority of the state really when you think about it. There's a lot more going on here. And yeah, most people are not down with this shit. So
Well,
it needs
I get these half jokes about Alberta becoming their own country, you know.
Mhm.
But in my experience, the friendliest people outside of the cities. It's always,
Those
it's
jokes
always a great
are
experience.
those are only jokes for so long, right? The jokes are usually rooted in truth. So
I mean, there's a whole other story. But I remember growing up, Quebec actually tried, and they came very close. I mean, to within like 1 percentage point in a national vote, they came that close to becoming their own country.
yeah, and Fresh Snow says it's coastal snobs, but yeah, it's basically because Nick's right. In most cases, like the cities are like, you know, either the high or the low of the state, and then the middle of the state gets completely ignored. You know, and especially in flyover country. Cryam says, wish Sega went full CGI like Nintendo did. Super Mario Brothers shows you don't need a real human world. Oh, and put Grace next to Frost can move. Oh God, all we need is them two making a show together, and the world would explode. I don't mind that they went live. Actually, to me, the fact that it is animated still kind of makes it just that, an animated film. It's not quite a movie, right? To me, that's that step that they went backwards with Mario. But hey, it is what it is. I enjoyed the film. I think it's great for kids. It's a perfect film for Easter weekend, especially for younger kids. If you have like the 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old type age range, that's definitely the right age range for this. But kids of all ages are going to enjoy it. That's the beauty of it, especially considering it has a 40-year legacy. So
did you say our buddy Yellow Flash like said it was like perfect movie? Did you say something like that?
He did earlier, yes. Perfect.
I mean, hell, that tells you everything you need to know right now. That means we all can go, and everybody in the whole family is going to have a good time.
And then Marks 47 sent me money to make her stop. I eventually did. We didn't have to listen to the last few minutes. You're welcome. Pilgrim Media says Mario needs to give Grace a mushroom stand. It's a me, Mario Thud. That's all right. You take it to beach. DCB Titan sends in 220 Canadian, says, is this woman we Todd Ed? Yeah, a little bit. DCB Titan says, also could definitely tell Bowser was Jack Black, but he definitely played the part. Exactly. Seth is DK, however. Fuck him. Yeah, he didn't even try. There was nothing in that didn't scream, I'm Seth Rogen. At least with Jack Black, you could tell he's just really getting into it. You know, it's like giving his, you know, just giving it his all. Like you could tell. Probably after every session he had to fucking get oxygen.
Yeah. I really enjoyed him. Between him and Luigi, and Luigi and Toad for me were my big three.
I was surprised by Toad because I didn't even realize it was Key. I didn't, no idea. I'm like, oh, he actually was sounded a lot like Charlie Day. So I was like, is Charlie Day doing both of the voices? Or and I'm like, after a while, I figured it was somebody else. But Charlie Day was like perfectly cast as Luigi, right? Mm-hmm. Like just the voice, the way he does it, it just. And he captures that like nervousness that Luigi always has as the character, you know, and stuff like that. And see, there you go. Johnny Legs even played Luigi wrong. So
imagine that. They're trying to be faithful to how the character should be portrayed. I mean, you don't say.
Yeah. Yeah. Highlight of the film was Jack Black, believe it or not. David Simon says, Tom sounds like he's about to yell at Grace, telling her she's going to be living in a van down by the river. She's got me to that point. Oh, man. Jonas has become a member. Thank you so much, Jonas. It is at the minimum effort puppy level. Let me get you a sticker here, as we call them, or video. We already did the minimum effort puppy, so let's do a lazy puppy. We like lazy puppies here.
Doggy.
He's riding that iRobot. He's supervising. He got 0 fucks to give to. Look at him.
Dude, that dog's living a good life right there.
He's living the best life. Green Raptor says, Tom being my Sega homeboy. Yeah, well, I don't think Andre would forgive me if I wasn't, you know. The Sega Mega Drive is his life. Jonas J. Campbell says every member of my family loved the Super Mario Brothers and came home wanting to know if Dad had any gaps in the Nintendo game collection. Wow, well, that's good. Yeah, depending on which version you're talking, right? Because there's tons of Nintendos. Zontar says Tetris, Mario, and Kono Saburushi Sekai ni Bakuin Bolo. Premiering all this week, all in this within 1 week. Gamers keep winning. I don't know what those last things are, but okay. Tetris though was a great flick. Great fucking flick. I can't recommend that enough either. Still my favorite movie of the year so far. By far. But I didn't get to see Air, but I've heard very good things about Air. So.
Yeah, I know it's there's some I'd probably seen at the air. Like if I wasn't doing Toxic Tuesday, I'd see it on a $5 Tuesday night. It does look like it has potential. And Ben Affleck is definitely I do think he's actually very overlooked as being a talent because he's attached to so much stigma, which obviously, I don't know who to fault there, him or his agent. But in stuff that he really shines, he shines. Like I love obviously, I've mentioned before The Town. I love Argo. I like Gone Girl as well. I thought when you let him really have something good to work with, he can be something really great.
I'm glad that him and Matt are in a movie together again too. That's part of the reason I want to go see it.
Hey Damon, I'm glad to.
I mean, even though they were in that Ridley Scott movie together, that don't count to me. So.
I forgot that they were together at that.
Yeah. This to me is their reunion. So like, yeah, I kind of want to see this. Like I grew up on those guys, so at least I can still like them, even though they're Kevin Smith alum. But yeah. Then we got Mr. Buttcrack Media who gifted a whopping 10 Midnight's Edge After Dark memberships. Woo! Thank you so very much, Mr. Buttcrack Media. That reminds me, I got to get on Andre's case. We got to do a memory stream here soon. And then Jesus Davila sent in $10 and a thumbs up. Thank you so much, Jesus. Please hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. We appreciate that. Mecha J sends in 5 and says, Rogan did say he absolutely refused to try and emulate DK's voice, at least with Pratt, Day, and Black. They actually put an effort into it. Oh yeah, you're like the second or third person to tell me this now. I didn't hear this interview with him, but I'm not fucking surprised. He's a moron. The other thing, and this is probably the same interview because somebody else told me this too. He also said like his first thought when he got on TMNT was he wanted to subvert expectations.
At this point, it's not even subverting anymore because we expect laziness,
right?
Trash like him. If he wants to actually nowadays in 2023 subvert my expectations, he would go in there and be like, all right, I need to be the best voice I can be as possible for Donkey Kong, not Seth Rogen.
He wants to subvert my expectations for TMNT. He could make a good fucking movie.
Man, that would be textbook subversion. If he actually succeeded, which I don't think he is, I would actually, man, that'd be a bitter pill to swallow. But hey, if he did do it, I would acknowledge it.
That's a good point.
No, we pretty much have been proven already. We're getting adolescent mutant ninja sort of babies. So.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And they're so cute. The girls are going to eat them up. Yeah.
I don't even honestly think the girls are. Like, I really don't think so. I think Mario's going to take away from the TMNT this year.
Oh, TMNT doesn't come out until next year, does it? Or later? When does it
I thought it was late this year. Maybe I'm wrong.
Or later, August, I think it is, yeah.
April O'Meal.
Yeah, we were giving her some great names there. I was calling her Liz O'Neill.
Liz O'Neill. Oh man.
Salvador Cruz liked Chris Pratt as Mario. I'm glad you did. Better than expected in his opinion, but I was not as sold. I thought he did okay, but I was kind of taken out of it. But the rest of the cast was pretty much great, sans Seth Rogen.
I see what you did there. Perfectly said. Perfectly said, Tom.
Anyhow, yeah, I think that was the all the news. There's a Pirate Bay movie coming, or a TV series. A TV series about the founders of Pirate Bay is in the works. There you go. That's an interesting bit of news. Other than that, there was, let's see here. Was there anything else? We already talked about the Little Mermaid changing lyrics. I don't remember where.
We got most of it covered, but you told us at the beginning anyway.
Yeah, I think we got it all. I think we're good.
All right.
So let's get the hell out of here and let everybody get over to Thursday Night Throwdown. I should probably... he didn't have it set up earlier. I should probably redirect it.
I got the link. I'll shoot you a link right now to TNT.
Well, while we're doing that, Klobby, what you got coming up?
In a little under an hour, the Klobby's Clubhouse is in session with my wonderful first officer, Raquel Briggs, and the great Mark D with the C. So got that going on tonight.
And Nick, you're going over to TNT, I take it?
Yes, sir. I'll be over there. Yeah, obviously I'll be on Thursday Night Throwdown in a few minutes. And I did post a video earlier, so if you could please save to watch later, that would be great, on my non-spoiler review on the Mara movie. I go into detail without giving away. I feel very proud of that because, it's hard in a spoiler-driven era. So I give a very fair review. Check that video out. And, of course, tomorrow night, the Comic Shop Talk will be having Jason Sandberg on to promote his comic book. And, of course, Toxic Tuesday, or next Tuesday night, we're going to be talking fucking Reservoir Dogs. So if that doesn't, any of those reason to subscribe, well, I don't know what to tell you. So anyways, chat, thank you for being here.
Oh,
thank
fucking
you,
time, Nick.
I know. Thank you for listening to us all. And Tom, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's always great to hang out with you,
Hey, Michelle.
Mike and Mike, and Karaoke, and CC, who also gave me minutes.
Speaking of CC, what you got going on? You got an interview coming up this week, right?
That's true. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Pacific, we will be interviewing Haley Lynn, who is fantastically talented, guitar-oriented alternative pop. Definitely check her out. Her music's been on The Pier, Money Heist, on ABC, The 700 Club, and others. She's going places, and we're really excited to get this whole new show running, interviewing artists.
Yeah. This is a fun bit of trivia here. Ron Jeremy is based on Super Mario. It's true. Mikey.
Yes.
What you got going on?
Tax returns and very little sleep.
Yeah.
Well. Oh, there, Nick went. Okay. All right. And myself, I'm going to hang out on TNT for a little bit anyway, and then that's about it. Take care of yourselves and each other.
Love you all. Thanks for being here for the
yes,
show.
Yes, we love you all.
Good night,
Take care
everybody.
of yourselves.
Don't believe anything you see on Twitter about me jumping out windows.
No, it's totally true.
As a reminder, I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so having said